Hello there, welcome to another episode of this podcast, The Complete Football Pod. With me, your host Mike. I hope you're all doing well. Briefly today, I'm going to be talking about Mauricio Pochettino and also a little bit about Chelsea. Please do like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I would appreciate it. It will go a long way. Yeah, let's dive in. Mauricio Pochettino. First of all, it is safe to say Chelsea is a mid-table club. They are not doing well for right now. Obviously, since the new owner took over, Todd Boehly, Chelsea has been in shambles. It's safe to say that, with all due respect to all Chelsea fans. Now, quickly, I want to point out something. In my opinion, I think during the Roman Abramovich era, it is safe to say Roman Abramovich had only signed coaches or managers that has a winning mentality, that are serial winners. So now, would Mauricio Pochettino would he have any chance of becoming a Chelsea manager during Roman Abramovich era? I will say no. When Roman Abramovich was still the owner of Chelsea, I don't think Mauricio Pochettino would be in the equation at all. I don't think so. Because let's take a look back from the time Roman Abramovich bought Chelsea. That was in 2003. The then coach in Chelsea then was I think Claudio Ranieri. He was an Italian. Claudio Ranieri was the coach when Roman Abramovich was there, and I'm kind of surprised because for every new owner, once they buy a team or once they buy a club, a football club, the first thing they do, they change a lot of stuff, including the manager. But during Roman Abramovich era, Ranieri was already there when Roman Abramovich bought Chelsea. But he left Ranieri, and I think he backed him up with a sum of 120 million pounds. 120 million pounds, yeah. But Ranieri could not really do anything with it. Now, the first coach he signed, Roman Abramovich, was the special one, Jose Mourinho, and we all know the rest is history. This guy came in after he had won a lot of stuff with Porto at his young age. He was young then when he came to Chelsea, and Abramovich signed him to come to Chelsea from Porto, and he won the famous Champions League with Porto with the players he had, and he came to Chelsea and he also he won a lot of trophies. I think he is the most successful Chelsea coach ever. The most successful coach Chelsea has ever had, Jose Mourinho. So it's safe to say Jose Mourinho is a coach with a winning mentality. He's a serial winner. After that, Mourinho left. Who came over? I think Ivan Grant. Ivan Grant came over, but after Mourinho was sacked, Ivan Grant was the director of football then. But he had this football knowledge, so he came in as an interim. I'm not going to talk about him that much because it wasn't really like a proper signing. It was just he was one of these he was one of many guys or one of many managers that managed Chelsea on the interim basis. There's a lot of them. Going forward in this video, you would hear about some names that just they managed Chelsea for a while on interim basis. Yeah, so Ivan Grant came in, and as I've said, he was the then director of football. He came into Chelsea. He did some decent job. Chelsea got to the Champions League final in 2008 when I think Chelsea Man United, when John Terry lost that slip while he was about to kick the penalty before Nicolas Anelka finally lost the final penalty. So Man U won. I mean, it was a decent job for a director of football. Got Chelsea to the Champions League final. So after he left, we had Felipe Scolari come in. Felipe Scolari. He won the World Cup for Brazil. You can see the trend at which Chelsea operates then about managers. Their managers were top class managers that has that winning mentality, that has actually won something. Those are the kind of managers Roman Abramovich go for. So He came in, Felipe Scolari came in. He won the World Cup for Brazil in 2002, Korea, Japan 2002. He also took Portugal, I think, to the Euros in 2008, if I'm not, I stand corrected. But I think it's in 2008 where he got to the finals, but he was defeated by Greece. And we all know, for those of you that watched that Euros, we all know the way Greece played. Greece, once they score you first, that's the end. You're not score. You don't have a chance. Don't let them score first. I can remember the first game of that tournament was Greece and Portugal, which Greece won 2-1. That was the only time Greece scored 2 goals in a game. Till they got to the final, it was 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. So that was Felipe Scolari before coming to Chelsea. But when he came to Chelsea, he could not replicate the same success he had before coming to Chelsea. But the point is, this guy has this winning mentality, was a serial winner, because winning a World Cup it's a big deal. So when Scolari left, we had who came? I think Ray Wickens. Yeah, there's a guy called Ray Wickens. He was Scolari's assistant manager. So Ray Wickens came in. He managed for briefly, and another guy came in, Gus Hiddink. We all know Gus Hiddink. There's one thing I heard about Gus Hiddink from an ex-Chelsea player. He said, anytime Gus Hiddink comes into Chelsea, he comes in when there's always like a trouble with manager, when there's a kind of Chelsea's not doing well. This guy is the guy that comes in to stir the waters. Gus Hiddink. Gus Hiddink came into Chelsea and he won the FA Cup for Chelsea. But before he came in, he was a winner. He won all the domestic league with in the Eredivisie, which is the Dutch league for PSV Eindhoven. So this guy also has that winning mentality. He has won a lot of stuff. So back to my point, every manager Chelsea has appointed during Roman Abramovich era have been serial winners. They have won a lot of stuff before coming in. They were not just picked somewhere like, you know what, this guy has this. No, it has to be, you have to win something. Because with Roman Abramovich, the moment you're not performing, you're out of the door. They show you the door. You're out. Another person comes in that has another person that has a winning mentality comes in to replace you. That has been the model and the trend during Roman Abramovich era in Chelsea. And we can argue, it's hiring and firing, but it worked for Chelsea. And Chelsea fan can attest to this. It worked for them. They love it. They were successful with it, because one of Roman Abramovich's vision when he came to Chelsea, when he bought Chelsea, was to make Chelsea the most successful club in London. He did it. It happened. Chelsea won 2 Champions League during, his reign, during his ownership, under his ownership in Chelsea. So when Gus Hiddink came in, he was already a serial winner. He came into Chelsea for a brief stint, I think, for probably 4 months or so. He won the FA Cup. Now, he left. Chelsea got Carlo Ancelotti. We all know who Carlo Ancelotti is. As a player, he's won a lot. I think he won the World Cup as a player. I'm not sure, but I think he won the World Cup. He won a lot of trophies with AC Milan as a player. As a coach also, he won the Champions League with AC Milan. Yeah. He won the Champions League with AC Milan. He won as a coach and as a player. So we can all say Carlo Ancelotti is also a serial winner. He came to Chelsea. He was successful in his first season. He won the Premier League, I think. And he won, I think his second season, he won FA Cup or something. So he did that. Carlo Ancelotti also left when I think he stopped producing results. He left, which is normal for Chelsea. When he left, AVB came in. Andre Villas-Boas. Mind you, when Mourinho left Porto for Chelsea, Andre Villas-Boas was the one in charge of Porto, I think. Yeah, he was the one in charge of Porto. So he also won a lot of stuff with Portugal in the Portuguese league. He won a lot of stuff. So when Carlo Ancelotti left, Abramovich brought him to Chelsea also, brought AVB to Chelsea. AVB could not. He is another manager that could not replicate his previous success he had with FC Porto. So he came to Chelsea. He had a fallout with some big players because of his style of play. I heard he had this kind of conventional style of play. The big boys were not okay with it, and there was a fallout. So after that, AVB left, and Di Matteo was appointed. Now, Di Matteo was the assistant for AVB when AVB was the Chelsea manager, the head coach. Roberto Di Matteo was the assistant. So when AVB left, there was no, I think there was no coach as at that time available. The manager Chelsea wanted was not available, so he had to step in. This is another guy that stepped in. Now we had three guys that stepped in. I think the first one was Ivan Grant, the then director of football. Ray Wakins stepped in. Now Di Matteo stepped in. Fortunately, Di Matteo stepped in, and Chelsea won their first ever Champions League. Chelsea fans were over the moon. Now, that got him a 2-year contract. Because he won the Champions League, Abramovich would want someone like that. The first Champions League ever he won, he delivered for Chelsea. Come on, you can go ahead. I mean, if you have this in you, then definitely you have more in you. But unfortunately, he could not also replicate that form. Even though we can argue it wasn't really that coach that I mean, Chelsea fans can say they never really trusted in his managerial style. Chelsea had good players then, so I personally believe the players he had an impact on them. But he was not like every other coach, every other manager Chelsea had that they were really like a coach like that. So he won the Champions League. They gave him a 2-year contract, but he was not able to it wasn't successful after the Champions League. What's the next thing? He left, which is normal for Chelsea. When he left, Chelsea signed a very, very controversial figure in Rafa Benitez. Yeah, Rafa Benitez then was Liverpool coach, and given that Chelsea and Liverpool were rivals in Europe, even in the Premier League, anytime Chelsea Liverpool played, then it was hell. They took it serious. It was always tempers flying. A lot of pressure. So when it came to Chelsea, Rafa Benitez, I would say most fans were not happy with that signing because of who Rafa Benitez was. But guess what? Before he came to Chelsea, he was a winner. He won the Champions League for Liverpool. The infamous 3-0 Champions League when AC Milan was leading 3-0 and they came back. Before that, he had won I think after that, he went to Inter Milan. He won the Club World Cup. He won the Europa Cup or something. So we can say he's already a serial winner. He came to Chelsea. He gave Chelsea the Europa League. He won the Europa League for Chelsea. He still delivered for Chelsea. I think in the final, Chelsea played Benfica when Branislav Ivanovic scored the header to give Chelsea to win the tournament for Chelsea. So that was Benitez. After that, he left. Then guess what? The special one came back the second time. Jose Mourinho. He came back the second time, and I think the second time was not really, really successful. And some people questioned his coming back. Like, you don't come back the second time. You don't ever come back the second time. So when Mourinho left, Mourinho left very, very abruptly, and there was nobody. Now another interim came in, which was already in the Chelsea system. I think Steve Holland. Yeah, he's now he's the assistant coach for the English national team, assistant coach for Gareth Southgate. Steve Holland. He was the coach for the under-21 when Mourinho during Mourinho's second spell in Chelsea. But when Mourinho left, he was promoted to be the caretaker for Chelsea. So I think he was not also getting a good result, and Chelsea was struggling, and that's one thing Roman Abramovich don't like. So what happened next? This guy came in again, Gus Hiddink. He came in the second time again. I think this time he came in for like 2-3 months or so. Yeah, he came in again to stir the waters, to when he comes in, there's serenity everywhere. Everywhere it's calm. So when the players see him, they'll be like, okay, this guy is this person that calms down the camp when everything is going south. So when Gus Hiddink left, Chelsea got Antonio Conte, one of my favorite coaches, one of my favorite managers. I like this guy. I call him the Italian Jurgen Klopp. He operates with high energy, high intensity. I love him. Antonio Conte, I love him. He did a lot. Before coming to Chelsea, we can say Antonio Conte is a serial winner. I think there was a club he brought from Serie B to Serie A. I think it was Siena or Bari. I can't remember. He brought them to he promoted them. He was a coach when they were in Serie B. So he was a coach. They won the league. So they came to the Serie A. Also, he was the Juventus coach when they won the Italian Scudetto. They won the league. I think he won the league there. I think twice or something. Yeah. So we can say Antonio Conte was also a serial winner before coming to Chelsea. He came to Chelsea. His first season, I think he also won the Premier League. The first season he came in, and that was the best. I think when I watched Chelsea, then you can tell this guy, Eden Hazard. Antonio Conte's time was the best time Eden Hazard had in Chelsea. That was his best performance ever in Chelsea in terms of statistics, goals, everything. That was his best moment for Chelsea. So Antonio Conte came, he did what he could do, what he does best. He won trophy. Antonio Conte, he would always fall out with owners, so he fell out with the top hierarchy in Chelsea. So when he left, we got another Italian in Maurizio Sarri. We all know who Maurizio Sarri is. There is something we call them the Sarri ball. He plays this kind of entertaining football. So Sarri also brought he was the manager of a club in the Serie A. I think Empoli. Empoli was also in the Serie B. He brought them to Serie A and he took over Napoli. So when he took over Napoli, the way Napoli played, Napoli was the talk, in Europe then. The way they played this exciting Sarri ball football, and everything was okay. So Chelsea signed him. Even though I think some fans were not okay with that signing because they didn't think he had what it takes, to manage a club like Chelsea. But anyway, he got the job. The Premier League he had a decent run in Premier League, but guess what? He also won another Europa League for Chelsea. He won another Europa League for Chelsea. But there's this Chelsea player that Chelsea has sold. Chelsea sold him already now. His best time was playing for Maurizio Sarri. This guy, what's this guy's name? I almost forgot his name. Ruben Loftus-Cheek. This guy was sensational, was electric during Maurizio Sarri's time. So Maurizio Sarri came in, he did what he did. And there was a problem during Maurizio Sarri's time. Chelsea had a ban for 2 years. I think that was why Maurizio Sarri left. Chelsea had a 2-year European ban. Chelsea could not sign any player for 2 years, and I think he could not stay with Chelsea because he needed players. So he felt this is not a good thing. So I think that was why he left. He left Chelsea. So when he left Chelsea, what happened? Chelsea could not attract any big personality, any big manager, because nobody wants to come to Chelsea when you can't sign a player for 2 years in Europe, and you don't really have a lot of players at your disposal. So the coaches none of them were ready to come. But guess what? Chelsea brought one of their legend in Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard had a decent run with Derby County then. I can remember there was a game they played against Man United I think at Old Trafford. They trashed Man United 3-2. So that game was actually one of the highlights that made Lampard that made Chelsea consider Lampard. Anyway, he got the job and he could not. Chelsea's job for him then was just to make a statement with his career. It was just starting, and so many people argued, no, you don't take Chelsea job right now. It's a trap. But he took it anyway because a player like Lampard is a legend. He would not look at Chelsea go down the rail or go down the drain. He would want to do something if he can. But he came in. He did a decent job. He was the one that promoted all this Reece James, all this Mason Mount. Some players were already bought before the ban. I think Pulisic was one of them. Pulisic was already signed from Dortmund before the ban came, so he could play for Chelsea. So Frank Lampard used a lot of youth players: Fikayo Tomori, Reece James, Tammy Abraham, and all those players, which was okay for Chelsea. Mixed with some veterans in Chelsea. It was okay. He qualified Chelsea for the Champions League, which was a decent job from Frank Lampard. So Frank Lampard did it, but he could not. In Europe, he was struggling. The second season, he was struggling. Now, Thomas Tuchel came in. Before Thomas Tuchel came to Chelsea, he was already a Serie A winner. So that tells you that Chelsea, during the Roman Abramovich era, it was all about winning. The managers that came in were Serie A winners. Thomas Tuchel came in. Within 4 months or 6 months, he won the second Champions League for Chelsea. Before coming to Chelsea, he was already an established winner with Dortmund, with Mainz in Germany. So then he had a fallout with Roman Abramovich. Then also there was this political problem in the world. Abramovich had to sell Chelsea. Todd Boehly came in. The first appointment was Graham Potter. Potter was a decent coach with Brighton. He was a decent coach. His style of play was good. The kind of players he had was okay. But when Todd Boehly came to Chelsea, I think Chelsea had a different vision from what Roman Abramovich had. There was a point where I heard a pundit from Sky Sports said, when Todd Boehly came to Chelsea, the rate at which he was buying players, she said there was a point where the players, some of them were dressing up outside the dressing room. Dressing room was not enough to contain all of them. That is a bold statement, and I mean, it was funny when she said it, but I don't doubt it because they had a lot of players. Some people were saying that was what contributed to Graham Potter not being successful. He had too much players. There was no way he doesn't. It was a headache for him. But in a nutshell, his tenure in Chelsea was shambles. He did not do. I mean, Chelsea became worse under him. So he was shown the door. So when he was shown the door, I think his assistant, Bruno Salto, I think he took over for the last 2 games of the season, I guess. So when he took over, after that, Frank Lampard came again, which is another worst decision from Frank Lampard. He shouldn't have come back again. But like I said, a legend like Frank Lampard, if he thinks he can do anything to save his beloved club, he will do it. That was why he came again the second time. But oh my God, this second time was horrible. It was horrible. And I think that would affect his managerial career going forward, because before that, his stint at Everton was also, it didn't go well. It did not go well. So under that, he came to Chelsea again to make matter worse. He didn't do anything with Chelsea also. So I think it's gonna affect him. It's affecting him right now, because if he had not taken that job, or those jobs he took, then it would have been, the reputation he would have been different from what he had now. So now Pochettino came in. Now, and Pochettino has been Chelsea's manager if it was Roman Abramovich, because in my opinion, Pochettino has not really done anything. He has not really done anything. He's not a winner. The far he had gone was taking Tottenham to the Champions League final, and he didn't win it. He did not win it. So I don't think Pochettino is the right guy for Chelsea. I don't think he's going to take Chelsea to that level where Chelsea will become an elite team again. I mean, but Chelsea cannot sack him right now. Chelsea might, but I'm not a football financial specialist, but I think Chelsea is having this financial fair play, this FFP problem. So they have to sell some players before they could get another one. All those things would throw Chelsea, off balance. So I think Pochettino is not the right guy for Chelsea. He's a decent coach, because during Abramovich era, a coach will not come to Chelsea because he's good with kids, because that's the premise at which this guy got Chelsea job. Pochettino is good with kids. No, with Abramovich, it's more than you're good with kids. No, you need to be a serial winner. Please let me know your thoughts about if Mauricio Pochettino would have been in the equation during Roman Abramovich era. Please drop your thoughts or your opinion in the comment section. This is going to be the end of this podcast tonight. Please do like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. It's going to go a long way to help this podcast. Thank you so much for your time, and see you again next time. Bye.